Parliament to speak on this issue.
Thank you very much. I have not come here to give you any speech. I am here to express my grief, my anguish, my solidarity with what has happened in the university, which has led to the unfortunate tragic suicide of Vemula Rohit. Rohit, I think, was not merely pushed to commit suicide. The situation was not merely created which abetted suicide, but it is actually part of a criminal conspiracy, and therefore I would say Rohit was murdered. He did not commit suicide. And this is the most unfortunate part. From what we have heard of all the developments since August last year, what was a normal thing that happens in a university, and I'm speaking as a student activist, having been in JNU, as the president of its students' union. I'm not here as what may be termed as a politician, but as a student. Why did we take to politics? We came to the universities in pursuance of a career, but when we saw everything in our life is determined by political decisions, when politics chooses my career, when politics chooses my existence, then I choose my politics, and therefore that is my politics. That is exactly what these students were doing. It's an ordinary scuffle. The proctoral inquiry has cleared it. They had settled that issue. In spite of that, it was reopened, and all of us know here the pressure that has been put by the Union Minister for Labour, the Union HRD Minister, and what they have done in pressurizing the university and the newly appointed Vice Chancellor, whose appointment itself is suspect, politically suspect. That Vice Chancellor had taken this action. This is completely unacceptable. So we think that this is a part of this conspiracy. Last year, I felt proud because I grew up in the city of Hyderabad, studied here, when the Hyderabad Central University was declared by the President of India as the best university in our country. But when we pointed out to the Honorable President that during the last few years, 12 students have committed suicide in this university. 12. Why are they being pushed to this level of taking such a dastardly action? Something is wrong with the university. And only last week of the last session of the Parliament, despite all the disruption, there was one new law that we legislated, and that was the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. According to that act, all those who abet such a situation, perpetuate the social oppression against the Dalits, are to be treated as committing a criminal offence, and that criminal offence has to be punished according to the criminal law. Today, the Union Minister for Labour, Union Minister for Human Resource Development, and the Vice Chancellor of your university, at least these three should be punished as criminals in this country according to this new law, and that criminal action should follow. So what we are asking the government to do is that remove these ministers, remove the Vice Chancellor, constitute a high-level independent inquiry, and all those who are involved in this criminal conspiracy must be brought to book, and must be brought to book according to the new law that the country has adopted in the Constitution. But I want you to even consider a larger point. What is happening with our universities today is exactly the antithesis of what our Constitution and our Republic of India proclaims. When universities like yours, the Hyderabad Central University, were established by an act of the Parliament, we were guided by the direction set by our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. And what did he say about the universities in independent India? A university, I quote, a university stands for tolerance. It stands for humanism. It stands for the adventure of ideas. He goes on, it's along the statement that he made. For an adventure of ideas, yes, there will be differences of opinion. Yes, there are people, and including my political party, who say that capital punishment should be abolished in our country, like more than 100 countries have abolished in the world. The Indian Law Commission has made recommendations to this effect. The government needs to consider. We raise it in the parliament. While this is an issue of debate, won't students naturally debate this point? Of course they will. Can that be seen, construed as being anti-national? Of course not. But then the construction of construing to see it as anti-national in itself is a part of this criminal conspiracy. And that is why we think there is a much larger issue. Instead of tolerance, instead of humanism, instead of adventure of ideas, we have the entire higher education of India being manipulated and doctored today to suit an ideological point of view of the RSS and the BJP, and the larger effort is to convert the secular democratic Republic of India, as our constitution proclaims us, into a rabidly intolerant, a fascistic Hindu Rashtra of the RSS variety. That is the big battle that is taking place in the country. What is happening in your university is part of that battle. Every institute of higher education is being interfered with. Indian history is being replaced by Hindu mythology. The syncretic Indian philosophy is being replaced by Hindu theology. Naturally, the students will, and you must respond to these things. We have done in our generation. We have responded. We have sought to change our society into a better society, and that urge is a welcome development, and I'm glad that the students of Hyderabad Central University are actually involved in these debates. And this is something, a tradition you must continue. Because what has happened in this university is also the reassertion of a system of social oppression that is based on caste prejudices. If people commit suicide and all 12 of them belong to the Dalits, they belong to the scheduled caste, then obviously what is happening in this university is taking India back into medieval times and where that equality that we promised in our constitution. All citizens of India are equal, quote, irrespective of caste, creed or sex, unquote. That is what we gave ourselves, we the people. That is being violated today. So it's a much larger battle, therefore we all come here to demand from the Modi government, of course if he has time from his foreign visits to listen. He was very upset when I said in the parliament, because when he came back from one of his many foreign visits, 38 of them, foreign, not even minister, he's a foreign tourist. It's not a minute. When he came back to the parliament from a foreign visit, the parliament session had just begun. The rumor in the parliament central hall, that is like our canteen, you know, all the MPs meet there. The rumor in the central hall was, as soon as he was sitting down on his chair, as soon as he sat down, he was looking for something. And what was that something? He was looking for his seat belt. He thought he was on a flight, not in the Indian parliament. If he has any time for the affairs of the country, we are asking him immediately to dismiss both the Minister for Labour and the Minister for Human Resource Development from the cabinet, remove this Vice Chancellor from the university, conduct an inquiry into the whole affair, and all those involved in this criminal conspiracy should be booked under the new Act of the Parliament as criminals, and criminal proceedings must proceed against them. And to this effect, with these demands, one of my colleagues in Parliament, Seema from Kerala, she was also with me in the students' movement in my generation. She has been nominated to the University Court of your university by the Vice President. She has written a letter today to the President of India as the visitor of university, and the Vice President who sent her to the University Court as a member, that it is morally untenable for her to continue in office in the University Court until an emergency meeting of the court is called, and in that emergency meeting of the court, we dismiss the Vice Chancellor, the University Court dismisses the Vice Chancellor, and action should follow by the government against the ministers and against all the other officials. So that is why when I said I'm not here as a politician, I'm here because we were all born as part of the student movement. And I somehow continue to maintain, I still continue to be a student. And in the university that I used to do my research in, there used to be students of my age also, then of my age, who would pursue something or the other. They would say, why are you pursuing this? He is doing research in Basha, Indonesia. So they said, what is the use of this for the country? But the use of this country cannot be determined now. What you all discover, what you all do your research on, is something that lays the foundations for the future of our country. So it is not to be valued in terms of what is its use today. And today, what is the use is only this Hindutva ideology. Anything that is against it is useless. That is what is the current thinking of the government of our country today. That has to be resisted. That has to be changed. I only have come here to express my solidarity. Yes, we will change it. We will change it. We will fight for you. I'm not only expressing solidarity with you all in the university or with your generation. I fight for a better India. Unless all of you are in a position to contribute to that better India, no better India can be formed. So I fight for the future of India. I fight for the future of India that must give you the liberty to, in accordance with the constitutional principles, to actually conduct and proceed with your activity without any hindrance or obstruction. And that is why, please remember, it is not only the revival of Hindu theology, Hindu mythology and Hindu theology. It is also a question of not allowing dissent in university campuses, of not allowing the university campuses to be creative, of trying to see that all university campuses will conform to that ideology of Hindutva. That is the molding of the consciousness. As this sort of a molding of the consciousness is against the very grain of the Indian Republic as it is there in our constitution. I may have differences with you, you may have differences with me, but unless you are able to articulate that, I am able to articulate that, and we discuss and debate, no progress is possible. So please, I am not here to urge you to come and join me. I am here to urge you to join the country in creating a better India, and that requires all of you to be political, take a political position, and then ensure that such atrocities do not repeat here. Heartfelt sympathies to the family of Vemula Rohit. I'm sorry, his name is Rohit Vemula or Vemula Rohit. That is the quandary that I was there in my generation four decades ago when we left Hyderabad to go to Delhi for college studies. In North India, you have your surname in the end. In South India, you have the surname in the beginning. So they used to ask me, what are you, Sitaram Yechuri or Yechuri Sitaram? I said, whatever you may call me, I am what I am. That is what I'll remain. So therefore, my only urging to all of you is that yes, for the sake of creating a better India, for the sake of fighting this political conspiracy, all these criminals who conspired to lead to the death of Rohit cannot be spared. This is not a normal incident. I've never seen a university where you call, the Vice Chancellor and the authorities call for a social boycott. This is obnoxious. This is absolutely obnoxious, and this cannot be tolerated. And anybody who says such things, denial of fellowships. Denial of fellowships. I mean, this I can tell you only one thing personally. During the emergency, I was a UGC scholar. I had a national UGC fellowship. Very few those days. There used to be only 50 for the whole country. The Vice Chancellor of my university, JNU, put pressure on my supervisor and the Dean of the school, saying that you do not sign his monthly, supervisory certificate. The Dean of Jawaharlal Nehru University, School of Social Sciences, she wrote back to the Vice Chancellor, saying that my job is to assess the academic merit of the student, not his political affiliation. Those were the standards we had in the university. And because of her, I used to get my scholarship and survive. But that values which are, I think, fundamental to our constitution and our republic, they have to be restored. They are under big attack, a big assault. And that is why this murder, as I would say, of Rohit, cannot be just observed and forgotten. The system is rotting from below. That has to be changed. That has to be improved. So therefore, my solidarity with all of you is, while personal solidarity, personal tragedy, and the circumstances, let me assure you, we will continue with our demand as ours, not as yours, but as us, as a political party in the parliament and outside in Delhi, that action should be taken against both these cabinet ministers and against the Vice Chancellor of this university immediately, and set right this university, which has a great potential, and the students who have a great potential to contribute for creation of better India. So allow them to flourish and progress. So this solidarity will always remain with you, and therefore, don't talk of politicizing or non-politicizing. As I told you, I'm not here as a political personality. I'm here as a student activist, continuing to be a student activist. And that is why I'll only urge you to both study and struggle and carry forward both your activities. Thank you for allowing me to share some moments of grief in this tragedy with all of you. Thank you. Thank you.